grade 7 students from section A until section F. This video will discuss with you our performance task for the first quarter. Now, it's important that we clarify with you the specific task that you're going to do because of the unique situation that we are in right now. So let me first provide you with the details of your performance task or the PT narrative. So it says here that COVID-19 has affected all of us in a lot of ways. A lot of us have to adjust to the new normal. Students, professionals, and senior citizens alike are struggling to adjust and live with the situation we are in right now. So your role is you're a member of a team commissioned to conduct a survey on the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic to the lives of people in certain levels or age categories. Your team is composed of a researcher, a survey manager, and data analyst. Your task is to come up with a report that shows the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. The report should be including basic information about COVID-19, survey results, which should be presented through a table and a Venn diagram showing the top 3 choices of your respondents. So you will need to survey 20 to 30 individuals in the following age group. Okay, so first is you have to survey students, around 8 to 10 of them, ages 13 to 19 years old. Also, 8 to 10 working individuals, ages 21 years old up to 59 years old. And last is 8 to 10 senior citizens, ages 60 and above. You are to present your results to the members of the panel composed of the executives of your firm and different media practitioners. Your research will be evaluated through the accuracy of computation, consistency of the model used to represent the result of the survey, the authenticity of data regarding COVID-19, and the validity of your survey. Here are the other important details. First is we need to define the roles of each one. Remember that the team is composed of 3 personnel: researcher, survey manager, and data analyst. You have around 5 members in your group, and so you allot 1 to 2 members in the group to act as researchers. This is the task of the researcher, to present the different facts on COVID-19 to be part of the report as an introduction. The researcher should collaborate with the members of the team to come up with a question survey and the choices the respondents will take. Next is the survey manager or managers. There should be 1 to 2 members in the group. The task is of the survey manager is to create the survey through a Google form and send this to the different respondents. Let me highlight Google form because I have here some helpful links below that you should need in order for you to manage Google Forms. So I have here a link which talks about how to make surveys in Google Form. So whoever would be tasked to be survey managers, you could look this up in this link, okay? Or the other members of the group could also study the following links. So the task of the survey manager again is to create the survey through a Google form and send this to the different respondents. The results will be forwarded and will be worked on by the data analyst. Now take note that when you create your Google form, you need to add the teacher as part of the collaborators. Okay? So it says here, add the teacher as a collaborator in Google Form. Next, the data analyst. There should be 1 to 2 members in the group. The data analyst will put the results in a table and make a Venn diagram to represent the data. So remember that this is a collaborative work. This cannot be done by the researcher alone, nor the survey manager or the data analyst. It doesn't mean that if you're the data analyst, you're not allowed to help in the research or in the creation of the Google form. This is just the definition of the roles, but it doesn't hinder each one or each member in the group to, of course, help, collaborate, and communicate. In order for you to present your result, you could either use the following platforms. You could use Google Docs or Google Slides. And I have a link provided here below that will help you on how to create Google Docs and Google Slides. You could also use Google Jamboard. And also, I created a link here on how to use Google Jamboard, Canva, or Padlet. So any one of these can be used for you to present your result. This is now your rubric. Again, the standards are accuracy of computation, consistency of the model, also authenticity of data, and validity of the survey. Let's go through each of the standards. For accuracy of computation, you have to make sure so that you could get a perfect score of 4, that computations based on the results are accurate. A written explanation is provided after the table or graph of the results from the survey. For consistency of the model, which talks about the Venn diagram presented is consistent with the results of the survey, and a written explanation is given to support the Venn diagram. Take note that accuracy of computations and consistency of the model are actually affecting each other. So be very careful. Authenticity of data on COVID-19. To get a perfect score, the facts and figures given on COVID-19 is authentic and based on research. The data are taken from multiple sources. Make sure as well that your source is cited. Last is the validity of the survey. The report is taken and consistent from the results of the survey in Google form. So make sure that you send your survey through Google form to your respondents. The teacher as a collaborator will know if the number of respondents was reached by the participants. So the maximum number of required respondents has been reached. Remember, you are allowed to survey 8 to 10 people. If you reach 30 individuals, that would mean you've reached the maximum number of required respondents. Here is a sample output. Note that you may base your report here, but you should not copy the content of the sample output. So this is an introduction, and this is the reference. This was taken from World Health Organization. So it says here, the coronavirus disease is an infectious disease caused by a new strain of coronavirus. This new virus and disease were unknown before the outbreak began in Wuhan, China in December 2019. On the 30th of January 2020, the Philippine Department of Health reported the first case of COVID-19 in the country with a 38-year-old female Chinese national. On March 7, the first transmission of COVID-19 was confirmed. WHO is working closely with the Department of Health in responding to COVID-19 outbreak. This is just a sample. You could, of course, supply additional information about COVID-19. This is another example. This is in support to the content in the previous slide. This is the epidemiological data taken from the covid19.gov.ph. And you can see here some of the groupings on how the numbers in COVID-19 are classified. Talking about our concept of sets, wherein we organize things, we organize content, we organize materials based from similarities. So here we can see that the concept of sets are also being described. And this is the survey question. you are only making one survey question with three choices. So the question here is, what effect did COVID-19 pandemic have in your normal day-to-day activities? Again, this is a sample survey question. You could create your own, but make sure that it is related to the topic on COVID-19 and how COVID-19 affected the day-to-day activity of people in all walks of life. All right? So the choices here, and you need to specify that you may check more than one, is no hanging or meeting out with friends, more time in the house, school work meetings or work has been mostly online. So these are the choices that my respondents will have to make. Next, I will now present the result. This is the tabular result. And this result actually is taken from Google Form. That's why we are asking you to create your survey in Google Form because it's much more efficient since when all the results are done, you could simply download the, um, the document or the um, Google Sheet document that would show you the different results in each category. So this one is very easy to make because this is already given once you're done. It also comes with a graph, so you could also put the graph here if you want. And a written explanation is presented below, describing the values of the results or the data in the table or in the graph that you will present. I also provided a summary using the concept of sets. Next is, of course, the Venn diagram, the model that we are going to use in order to present our result. So this is the Venn diagram together with its explanation. Be very, very sure that in your Venn diagram, the values or the sum of all the numbers here should add up to the maximum number or should add up to the number of respondents that you've taken in your survey. So with this, Ms. Adelpha and I, we wish you good luck to your first quarter performance task. Make sure that you keep to date with the performance learning plan guide that we have given you in our home pages. Make sure to always collaborate, communicate with your classmates and your group mates. The PT grouping is still the same with our group activity grouping in Canvas. You could also make use of the different platforms that you could use in order for you to communicate and collaborate with your group mates. So with that, again, I wish you good luck. Thank you and goodbye.